Hi again. I'm here to announce the presenting sponsor session by Brogent Technologies. Nathan Jones from Vekoma Rides, Vice President of Sales and Marketing of North America, is going to lead our panel, and he's going to come out and tell you who you're going to hear from. Nathan, thank you.
Really? Really? That's okay. This panel and I, we're the only thing standing between you guys and drinks tonight, okay? Let's try that again. All right, let's give it up, Nathan Jones. There we go. There we go. All right, well, I'm excited to be here. This is a pretty cool panel. I'm moderating this panel, but we've got some experts out here. And I do mean experts in their fields. We were just last night kind of talking shop amongst each other. You'll be hard-pressed to find a project in the last 20 years that don't have the fingerprints of these four individuals on them, either as individuals or they're representing companies. So you do really have the experts up here. So this is a Q&A, it's interactive. We want to learn from you guys. You should learn a little bit maybe, takeaways from us. So have your questions prepared and ready. So how did we get here? Risk. We've been talking about risk all day. When we sat down with the TEA folks in the offices, we wanted to talk about how do we position this that we can reach the audience, the broadest audience, reach out to all of you. We didn't want to get granular. We didn't want to talk about harnesses and seat restraints. We wanted to make it broad enough that everyone could take something home with them. So we talked about the basics. What are the basics of risk? What are the elements of risk? And so we took that almost quite literally. We talked about what are the actual, let's see if we can click this here, elements within Earth. Can we tie the elements of Earth into what we do in this industry? And this is where we came up with the experts. So you see the elements there, water, fire, earth, and air. Some of them, it's a pretty easy correlation. You can draw a straight line from water. We have on our panel Ryan Snyder from Whitewater West Industries. I mean, the largest developer, architect, fabricator of water parks in the world. So that's an easy correlation. The other ones I'll introduce to you as well in a second. Earth, we were talking about a little bit. We were struggling back and forth. How are we going to present that? How is that relevant or represented in our industry? So we looked at Earth, and we realized Earth was the only element that actually encapsulated the other elements, the fire, the air, and the water. Earth was really the harmonizer, if you will, of the other elements, made sure they played well together. There wasn't too much of one or the other. So who better to speak to that than JRA? And we're really excited to have Shawn McCoy from JRA on our panel as well to speak about master planning and design and how everything works together. So, all right, who's this guy yammering? So I'm Nathan Jones from Vekoma Rides, Vice President. I also sit on the Western Board for the TEA as well, and the chair for the Northwest Subcommittee. Northwest, by the way, just a hotbed. We've got Whitewater West, Costa, Wisconsin, Vancouver Aquarium, P&E. We've got some great companies up there represented. We're not Burbank or anything, but we've been on fire here for the last 2 years. So it's been really fun to be part of the TEA up there in the Northwest. So Vekoma Rides, what do? We do roller coasters. We eat, breathe, sleep roller coasters. That's all we do. We wake up and think about roller coasters. And that's my job. This is cool. Although as a side note, my son is 4. So by the way, I learned a couple things here. I can use emojis, I can swear. I didn't even know this for presentations. I gotta change mine for next time. So my son, no pictures of my son either. So my son, he just turned 5. And I was at home one day and he said, Dad, come here, come here. He brought me to the front room. He goes, look at that. And I said, what am I looking at? I see the garbage truck. He goes, yeah, isn't that an awesome job? Why can't you do that? And I said, dude, I have like one of the coolest jobs in the world. And he said, Dad, he gets to drive that truck all day. So you can't argue with 5-year-old mentality. Anyway, so that's my job. I work for Vekoma Rides. We build spectacular roller coasters for theme parks, amusement parks around the world. And talk about risk mitigation. And risk really takes on every aspect of what we do, what we touch throughout our company. Not even the obvious ones, engineering and design, but we also have to look at who we're actually selling to. Who are these roller coasters? Who's installing them? Who are going to be the operators of them? Because the risk always comes back to us as well. So it's in every facet of what we think about at Vekoma as well. But I'd like to bring out our esteemed panel. They'll all come out and then introduce themselves, but I'll welcome them out here and then we'll introduce everybody. And that's why the seats are here. You guys have been wondering. Oh, nice coordination. Oh, come on, a bit more than that. Pretty good. Not bad, not bad. So I'll pass it over here to Ryan Snyder.
Thank you very much.
Yep. There you go, you're up.
Well, there you go. So Ryan Snyder, I'm part of the creative design and innovation team at Whitewater West Industries. We are based out of, as Nathan said, Vancouver, BC, but we actually have offices regionally on 6 continents around the world, trying to serve our clients in those sectors very specifically. So I'll start off with a little bit of this. My own personal history, and started with a day, and as far as risk goes, started with a day that my mother took me to the pool. I was just an infant and dropped me into the water. So that was my introduction to risk and reward at that point in time. And from that day on, those type of memories, as well as the experiences, my family, actually, I was blessed with them taking me around all of North America and seeing every ball of twine and tipping house and makeshift amusement park and all the like. And actually took all those experiences and brought that forth into my own career. So prior to Whitewater West, I was a design build architect, park planner, product developer, father, all this fun stuff related to actually a theme park industry. So as you can see, Whitewater West is one of the, I would say arguably the leader of innovative rides and attractions throughout the world. Obviously, we have partnered with some of the bigger names and brands across the entire world in creating dramatic and iconic type solutions. However, I will say that throughout this whole entire process, we can create wonderful, amazing, big pictures and beautiful, iconic things. However, we stand at risk to actually fail in that if we don't remember what really matters. Some of these big pieces of elements and experiences may not actually be what they should be. We really need to remember that we are storytellers, and that as we tie into things trying to solve solutions, that we really need to remember the clients and our guests in particular. Because if the guests aren't entertained and they don't come back, then the business of water, the business of air, fire, and earth don't succeed, and then therefore we all kind of fail as a group. So with that said, really excited to be here and really interested in hearing the questions and going forth.
Excellent. Next we have Mr. Steve Birket. We'll click it the other way.
I'm Steve Birket. Birket Engineering is a system integrator. The thing that makes the phone ring is the integration of life safety effects. What is a life safety effect? That's something where there's someone in the process, someone in the machine, either a person on a ride vehicle like a roller coaster or a water ride, or an example of a stunt show where there's stunt folks interacting with a water effect or a flame effect or a pyro effect, something where there's people involved and there's opportunities, for trouble. I am an electrical engineer. First project I worked on was the ride control system for the Norway Pavilion at Epcot, so that dates me. I've outlived the design life of that attraction. Now it's frozen. I'm probably the least of the engineers in our company. There's about 80 folks in offices in Orlando and Shanghai and Hong Kong. This is the example of the kind of attraction that we might be a part of. It's got a little bit of everything. There's gas flame, there's pyrotechnics, there's water effects, there's show action equipment, all of these things, and all these people are involved in there. So that's the kind of project that we like. We will design the hardware and software to control that, keep the folks safe, and then build the equipment and commission the attraction. So that's what we're about. And here's the same thing stated with different words and more fun pictures, but that's pretty much the idea. That's Birket Engineering.
Hi, I'm Shawn McCoy with Rouse Associates, or JRA. First, I want to thank Nathan for inviting me to speak on such a niche topic. It was basically, the invite was like this: hey, do you want to join the SATE panel? Yeah, that would be great. What are we talking about? well, hey, I want you to talk about all risks on planet Earth. And you've got like 2 minutes. So that's, we'll get
Here's
there.
Shawn McCoy, everyone.
So anyway, JRA is a planning and design firm specializing in the creation of theme parks, attractions, museums, and science centers, brand experiences around the world. I've led the studio's marketing and business development for the past 22 years. For the past decade or so, I've shifted more into writing, conceptual development, and pulling together both internal and external teams to design and produce some of our larger attraction projects.
That's quick.
Quick.
Hi everyone. My name is Chen, and I'm the sales and marketing director for Brogent. Brogent is a media-based ride manufacturer, and mainly for indoor attractions. And coming from the technology side, in order for our ride system to deliver fun experience, we rely on support from the creative people, designer for the storytelling, architect for the facility design, and media production for the ride film. So that's together, that's how we create a successful attraction. And everybody saw in the earlier video, this is the Flying Theater. That's our most popular ride system. So currently we have installations in pretty much in several continents in the world. And here in North America, we have installation in Minneapolis. In Mall America, it's called Flyover America. And in Vancouver, we have Flyover Canada. And in next year, next year we'll have completion in the U.A.E. and we'll have 3 more completion openings in Europe, including one that's in Europa Park in Germany. And so for the ride system, we use the 6 degree of freedom motion platform. So the agility of the ride system allows the freedom of storytelling, whether it's aerial scenery, live action, or CGI, sky's the limit. So.
All right, so these are your panel of experts here. So to kick it off, I know you guys are anxious. I'm going to ask the first question so I can put someone on the spot. I wrote it down because it was so good. So, all right, so this is to anyone. So what do you guys think are the major risks that impact attractions? I mean, it's a given that most of us are creators and we touch the attractions industry in some form or shape, but how should we view and manage risk?
I'll take that one.
Mr. McCoy.
I mean, like a lot of industries, the attraction industry faces a wide variety of risks. The most important and probably highly visible one is guest safety. In that every time a guest walks through our gates or rides one of our rides, they're literally putting their lives in our hands. Unfortunately, given the current world climate, I also think that overall park security or attraction security is becoming more and more focused. Anytime that you get a large number of people within a given space, unfortunately, it creates an opportunity for those who wish to do harm, that opportunity. In addition, there are a variety of other risks that I think affect the attractions industry. Everything from weather-related risks, as our colleagues in Florida recently experienced with Hurricane Matthew, financial risks when a project or an attraction doesn't meet its attendance or revenue projections, cultural risks when a global brand maybe doesn't adapt as well as it should to a local environment. That's something that I think Disney experienced initially in getting into Hong Kong and then quickly corrected. And I really think they learned from those missteps when they created the new park in Shanghai, which really is a nice blend between global IP and local culture. And then there's everything from, the list goes on, from cybersecurity or theft and fraud or unlicensed use of intellectual property. And managing these risks is really a complicated endeavor, and I think a lot of organizations have teams dedicated to doing so. I'm not an expert in risk management, but I think if you look at it in its simplest terms, it really comes down to following 3 simple principles. Be informed, be proactive, and be committed. And I guess what I mean by that is Be informed, that means that your team is as knowledgeable as they can about their area of expertise, and about the risk associated with that area of expertise, everything from design and safety standards to local codes, global regulations, all of that. And then maintaining that knowledge on a consistent basis. Being proactive, once you know those risks, then putting into place the protocols and the practices to make sure that you can either avoid those risks or help to lessen the risk or handle them once they come on board. And then finally, I think that the most important is being committed, and that an organization has to commit the time, the money, and the resources so that your staff can continually be informed and be proactive, because risk management really can't be a temporary focus. It has to become part of your corporate culture.
Nice. That was a very well-prepared answer. Good job, Shawn. All right, so we'll open it up. We're going to the end, so Shawn can write haiku or do interpretive dance, but we're taking this to the end, so we'll open it up. Any questions out there? Hands? I can't see much. Anyone? We have the ride attraction experts on this panel. No one has one single question out there. I see a lot of people buried in their phones. There we go, over here.
I'd like to ask a question regarding risk that outside of, it's a different kind of approach, which is so much of our concern about risk is public safety, you know, the care of the guest. But you look at some attractions today, particularly the ones that are kind of like film driven, there would, in my mind, there'd be part of the thrill and excitement of a flyover is knowing that you're ultimately safe, but if you are actually, you know, in motion, as the cameraman was or person, that you would be at tremendous risk. And I'm just kind of curious as to how the industry manages the risk of the people that are kind of behind the film, or you know, the risk that's associated with construction, risk that's not guest driven. And I direct that to any of you.
Probably the most media-based is Tim, or if anyone else wants to jump in, or Ryan.
Tim?
Okay, so in order to put together a successful media-based ride, the media and the ride system, it's not 50-50, but instead it's 100 and 100. So when the production team is producing the media for the flying theater, they have to have a really good knowledge of the characteristic of the ride system. So the media will optimize the performance of the ride. So there are many considerations to take in the planning process. For instance, selecting the location, the fly path, the airspeed,
So could I go to Radio Shack? Or they still have Radio Shack? Can I go to Radio Shack and get a drone and film a flyover?
No. So all those considerations taken. So the initial challenge will be to produce a film that doesn't give people the sickness, motion sickness, when they take a ride. The idea is for people to have fun and not to feel sick all day in the park. And even though the ride film is only around 5 minutes, but it should still have the elements, a little bit of drama, a little bit of a thrill. So to deliver the most immersive experience. For our project, Flyover Canada and Flyover America, the production team went out there and shoot the whole year, from spring to winter. It takes a team of professionals and different fields of expertise to do a good film. So it's not something that you just use your iPhone to fly the drone and do it. So,
add to that?
I think it's a balance, right? As we talked about this morning, about how much risk should we do? You know, how much is too far, and how much is not far enough. So, finding that fine line and that gray zone in which all those factors, including budget and project opening times, are all balanced together. So it is quite a challenge, but I think that the industry has come quite a ways in the last 5-10 years.
And I mean, it literally is a tightrope too when we talk about, might not necessarily be medium-based, but in roller coasters, it's always the highest, the most G-forces, the biggest drop balanced with, well, what is the risk mitigation there? What is the safety aspects with it? And we live that every day. So it is a balance that we live in our sector as well. All right, other questions? We have one up there.
Backing off of that question, the previous question, we've seen VR come and go and come and go, and 3D come and go and come and go. It seems like there's a tightrope between unleashing a technology on the public too early and maybe having it not work and have that be a PR issue, and waiting too long and then your competition kind of laps you from a technology perspective. So what is the sweet spot as far as when a new technology is ready to be, like I said, unleashed on the world?
So I'll jump in. So it's really difficult, right? How much of your intellectual property do you keep protected? When do you share it? When do you expose it? I think technology, as far as it relates to, say, water slides and other ride experiences, as well as the others, I think it probably is the next step. Having augmented experiences. So it's maybe not VR, maybe other technologies. And really, I think our gentleman from MTV touched on it, is really, taking a look at how our culture has evolved, both North America, Asia, and Europe, and really seeing how things are going and reacting to what our guests and our clients are asking for, and then really responding to it with a rollout that is appropriate, where we feel like we're comfortable with the technology, and then moving forward from that point.
And it truly is a partnership. You have to remember clients have different risk tolerance as well. So it's finding that right client. A lot of them love prototypes. They love to be first to market. A lot of them are a little bit more hesitant. They want a proven commodity that's out there. So it is partnering, again, with the right client as well. Anything to add on that one?
And levels of failure are part of that. As it was mentioned earlier, there is risk in that, and failure is the way we learn how not to do things in the future. So sometimes have to risk that.
I see Chris with his big hook getting ready to get us off stage here. So we'll wrap it up for now. We'll all be around this evening if there's any other questions for this panel. But we're going to bring it back to the team out here. We've got Tracy, Chris, and Mike all coming out, I believe. Yes, all three of them are going to come out, wrap up the day, and let you know what's going on for the rest of the evening.